If you've been to a wedding, you've probably seen the amazing musician sitting out there in cocktail hour playing on beautiful stringed instruments, or maybe a photo booth with some fun stuff to hang around your neck and take funny pictures of. Or even in one case, there was no cocktail hour and everyone just played laser tag. I sat down with some of the leading wedding industry professionals and asked them on some great entertainment ideas that you can have at your wedding.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different things that are out there and stuff. What you have to do before you get into lots of different crazy ideas is to kind of be like, what's going to, like cocktail hour is literally the first impression your guests are going to have at your wedding. So if you want to do something that's really, really different, you have to realize that there's a portion of your guests that may not quite get it and stuff. But I like doing things like, for example, you're playing for an Irish couple. Maybe they want some Irish folk music that we can add, and that we can add an Irish fiddler and add these little personal touches. It's kind of like SD versus HD or your cameras. Like if you kind of like fine tune it that much more, the more detail you kind of go into, like, wow, this jacket fits me absolutely perfectly. And the same thing musically or with any other kind of entertainment.
I think the photo booth is always fun. People love that. Just recently met a woman who has a business doing tattoos, and what's really cool, I have one on my arm. They're sparkly, but she can do custom tattoos, so with the couple's name or if you have a theme. And I'm telling you, grown-ups like those temporary tattoos. It's super fun. Also, if there's some kind of, traditional aspect from your culture, like doing, having performers come to do a traditional dance. That is really cool. And it's personalizing, but it's also entertainment.
Yeah. I have a couple this year that's going to be using some arcade games. So I think anything where, like, you have to think about those people that don't dance. Like, what can you provide to them that is going to be fun? Or even like during your 3 hours of dance aerobics, what else can you take a break to go do? So I think interactive food stations are great, because you have like an element of interaction with, being able to consume something. I definitely love the idea of, games and things that you can go experience. Photo booths are always fun. But you also don't want to take away from the dance floor. So I think you have to find a nice balance between keeping your dance floor full and not having things that are like too exciting where you kill your dance floor. I love the idea of like cocktail hour, having something interactive like that. That's super fun, because then it's a little bit more controlled. And I feel like with food stations or anything in that regard, it's really fun to do, because it's something where you're not going to stay all night to build a sundae. You're not going to stay all night at a donut wall. Well, maybe you will, but like, you're not going to stay all night at a custom cocktail bar or something like that. You're going to grab and go. You're going to keep experiencing the event.
I haven't had a whole lot of entertainment at my weddings outside of the usual DJs, bands. I have seen a rise in acoustic instrumentals for cocktail hour and for ceremony. I think that's always really nice, especially if it's a friend. One thing that I think is really cool is interactive sort of favors, whether it be a photo booth. I've seen really cool like caricature artists that will do a caricature drawing for a guest that they can take with them. One of our weddings had someone painting a little city of Chicago landscapes and giving those out as a favor. But I think if you can find something that's going to reflect your style and is going to be, something that's specifically tailored to your day and your event that guests will want to keep forever, like a little painting of a Chicago skyline, I mean, that's always a great thing to be able to offer.
I've seen, especially with when a couple kind of brings in a lot of, like, cultural elements, sometimes it's a wonderful surprise to see like dancers come out and like just put on a performance, or I'm Mexican, so what I can speak to more is like when you have like a beautiful mariachi kind of playing during dinner. It's wonderful. So whenever a couple kind of brings in parts of their culture as part of the entertainment, I always kind of think that's fantastic.
Some great entertainment ideas would be to have a photo booth, a mirror booth, stuff like that.
A mirror booth? What's a mirror booth?
A mirror booth is exactly what it says. It implies. It's literally like a TV screen, but it looks like a mirror, and you stand in front of it, and you can write little cool things, take a picture and stuff, and upload it to Facebook, Instagram.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a wedding coming up that they're planning on doing s'mores outside. So a little bit different, but the guests will have something else to experience. I know like the big thing right now is like the bouncy house, I've heard. I don't necessarily agree with it. I spent all day getting ready for your wedding. I'm not gonna go jump on a bouncy house. And I know you referenced laser tag and you said it was great, but did it incorporate all ages? Because that would be, oh it did, good, because that would be a concern of mine. But I would think about something that happens maybe during cocktail hour, but not during the actual reception because your dance floor will be empty.
I had a bride and groom that had a cotton candy wall, and I thought that was pretty cool.
A wall?
Yeah, they actually built like this whole big cotton candy wall that was debuted for the dancing side. And people could go and take a stick of cotton candy out. It was really neat. I've also seen where people will bring in like big games, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've seen those too, like big Jenga or something like that for cocktail hour, and I think that's really cool.
I've had caricature artists. I've had live action food stations, so like a build your own cupcake bar, you know, who doesn't love cupcakes? And you get to top it yourself. I mean, that's awesome. Think outside the box. Like if you as a couple love to do something, whether it's think of something that you guys like to do and then bring that to your wedding. No one wants to go to a wedding that looks like everyone else's wedding. So if you want to play laser tag during cocktail hour, awesome. More power to you. If you love to play board games, I once had a client who they weren't dancers. They hated dancing. None of their friends really liked to dance. They sang Christmas carols that the bride played the piano during cocktail hour, and they played board games for their reception. There was a DJ and some people danced and all that, but the people that wanted to play board games, they were in seventh heaven. That screamed them as a couple as a wedding. If it's your tradition to sit around with your college friends and sing Christmas carols and you play the piano, do that at your wedding. Hopefully it's Christmas time at least. Or it's just gonna be awesome, because who doesn't love Christmas songs?
I think a lot of people are using musicians now, like cocktail hour and for their ceremony. So I think that's nice. Versus it being kind of quiet or, you know, during the cocktail. But yeah, a lot of people have been using harpists, musicians, yeah.
What can't they do on their wedding day for live entertainment, right? There's so many options. There's live painting, live artists where you can bring them in and they can put on music. It's usually 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so during dinner, and they're painting and they're creating art, and then it's like a big canvas art piece of artwork for the couple as a gift to their wedding, for their wedding day. There are dancers, there's flamethrowers, there's aerialists that come down from the ceiling. There are illusionists and magicians that can come in and actually entertain your guests during cocktail hour, and they do a strolling show. Tarot card readers. There are people coming in and creating even what I think of entertainment. And you know, there's the traditional photo booth, and you can do that too. There's even people that can like come in and like create like live food action stations or dessert stations. So even though it's not technically entertainment, like you can have things like they're rolling ice cream and creating things, or dipping like ice cream things, or there's so many different things, all the things. Donut walls, even though that's catering, that's still entertainment, right? Come in, grab a donut. Yeah. To me, that's entertainment because it's creating interaction, correct, right? So it doesn't always have to be this flashy thing. Sometimes it's little elements you can put into your day.
I've really liked how people are bringing like specific things in. Like I've seen someone have like a flower crown table where people can make their own flower crowns. I've seen people have like a cigar rolling table where they learn how to roll cigars and like roll their own cigars, or a mixologist table. I've heard, this is a crazy one, it was a 420 themed wedding. So only in legal states is this allowed. But they had a like edible bar, like a pop bar, where you can take certain strains and mix your own, and they had a person who was specialized in that there, and mixing your own joints and stuff like that. I'm like, what? So there's crazy things that are happening nowadays. And I've heard of a Coachella themed party too, a Coachella themed wedding my friend just did. She's a planner. And she said that they had like a Ferris wheel, like a mini Ferris wheel with like a photo booth set up that you could like sit in, and it doesn't take you really high, but like you can get your picture in it. So I'm like, there's just so many, the options are endless today. You could do anything.
I really believe that adding live music to whether it's your ceremony, your reception, your cocktail hour brings an extra element to your whole wedding that just elevates it and makes it extremely elegant and classy. And another one that I've seen lately is live wedding painting. So having a live painter at your reception or at your ceremony actually painting the scene, and he or she will finish it by the end of the evening, and you'll have a really cool memory of your wedding.
They paint a scene of the wedding? Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I've never heard of that.
It's pretty exciting.
I've seen ping pong at a wedding reception before.
Really?
Yep. That was an interesting one. I liked it. This past year, I saw a butt sketch artist. I'll let that sink in.
I'm gonna need a little more detail about this.
I'll let that sink in. I had never seen anything like that. It was a guy who came and did caricatures at cocktail hour and then later at the reception, but of people turned around backwards.
That's fantastic.
Couples just from the back in a sketch.
I absolutely
It was funny.
love that. Yeah.
It was really funny. People were dying laughing, and then everybody was, Instagramming it, and it was really funny. Something I had never seen before. I did a wedding last year. It's a tarot card reader, and that was really fun. People loved that. That was open. They set up a tent for her just off of the reception, and people kind of took breaks from dinner during cocktail hour and had their tarot cards read. That was awesome.
I think it really just depends on what fits with you and what don't try to, it's your day. So don't try to be something. Don't see something and be like, oh, we should, if that's not you, then don't do it, do something that's you. And one of the coolest things I've ever seen is having like the father of the bride or like, the groom or like people who play instruments or in bands, like actually perform at the wedding. I'm a huge music guy, so for me that's just awesome. I did see Harry Carey. Somebody had a Harry Carey impersonator at a wedding, and that was pretty wild because they were all Cubs fans. And they were doing the Go Cubs Go and take me out to the ball. And that was pretty cool.
One thing I've seen a lot of clients do is if they're part of a dance group, they have the performers come out and actually perform at their wedding. I've also seen, belly dancers. I've also seen belly dancers. I have seen flamethrowers, where they spit flames. It really depends on your budget, though, and if you're making what kind of event you envision. If it's an elegant affair, you probably want to stick to that theme. If you're trying to create something fun and memorable, no matter what, your wedding's gonna be memorable. But it really depends on what your style is, and that's what's gonna really guide you through that whole entertainment idea. Do you have to do it? No. It depends on how many hours you have at your hall, right?
Entertainment things. So I've seen the Shulyweds game. That was kind of entertaining to watch because the DJ was asking the couples answers, like they're holding one another's shoe, or they're holding their shoe and they're holding their significant other's shoe, and they're turned away from one another, and the DJ will ask a question, and then they'll have to raise up which shoe goes with whoever.
Like, who's the first one to do laundry, or
right.
Or there's one box of cookies left. Who's gonna eat it first?
Right. Or who's the better driver? Goofy stuff like that. So the Shulywed game, that's fun. I don't know. Having a band is always like that. Live entertainment is enjoyable because that energy is so just present, right? You've got, I don't know. That to me, that's enough entertainment, like a band.
And we've had couples have like bean bags or washers or some games on the lawn while guests were going from ceremony to reception, or you have an awesome musician who's going to play your cocktail hour that's going to be more interesting than just a DJ with a speaker.
Yeah. Photo booths are a ton of fun.
Yep.
Slow motion photo booths are really fun. There's like flip book photo booths you can do. That's pretty fun. Things that like are different. I feel like, we had a couple who did a caricature artist just this last year. That was a blast because guests actually stood around and watched him, and then he did caricatures of all, like pretty much everybody who was there. So that was really, really cool.
But find things you love that you'd want to share with your guests.
Yeah.
If you love puzzles, have some puzzles out. Like, make it your own wedding.
Yeah.
If you love board games, have some of those out for cocktail hour.
We've also had couples who've done things like little jars, and people can write like well wishes or dreams for the couple or things they should do, and just silly things that actually,
Cigar
we
roller?
totally. Oh yeah, we had a cigar roller, like a dude who came and rolled cigars. That was super awesome.
That's dope.
Yeah, like leaves and everything, rolled them on the spot. It was so fun, and guests who didn't care about cigars at all were standing there watching it because the process is so neat.
Right.
It's different. It's not something you're always going to see. So that was cool.
We hope this episode of Vendors helps you on your wedding planning. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and to share to make sure you and your fellow planning couples don't miss a single episode. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to check out our entire conversation in the podcast. You can find all of today's vendors and their contact information in the details below this video. And be sure to check out all of our episodes about these amazing wedding industry professionals. We'll see you next time on Vendors. Vendors is produced and edited by Night Owls Media. More information can be found at nightowlsmedia.com.